Hey guys, this is Rob from ASUS, and today we're going to look at the U46Sv. This is a slightly larger version of the 13-inch U36SD we looked at a couple weeks ago. It's actually a 14-inch notebook, but it's actually almost the same size as the 13-inch notebook. We managed to squeeze a 14-inch screen into the smaller chassis, so it's a pretty cool notebook. Also has upgraded specs, Intel Core i5-2430M processor. It's got pretty good graphics too, NVIDIA GT540M with Optimus technology. You also have a really huge hard drive for an ultraportable. This is a 750 gigabyte hard drive. And the same for the RAM actually. This has 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is about double what we usually put in a notebook. So definitely pretty powerful ultraportable. So let's crack in this thing and see what it looks like. Okay, I'm just going to turn this around for you guys so you can see inside. So first thing on top is all your documentation. And on this notebook, the first thing you've got is your warranty card. And in this case, you do have 1 year accidental damage protection that covers spills, drops, shocks, that kind of thing. Really good to have. And also a 2-year global warranty. Next we have a driver disc and your cable tie. And then the user manual. And the user manual does also have the cleaning cloth on the back, so pretty handy. So I'll put that aside. And then this side pocket here, you have your charging cable and adapter. And on the other side, we have a battery. And this is a pretty large battery. It's actually an 8-cell battery. And what that is going to give you is about 10 hours of battery life on the U46. So quite a lot of battery life. But onto the main event. Let's check out the U46. So here it is. This is a silver version. It is a really nice textured aluminum. So if you guys remember, the U36 was that magnesium with the nano coating. This time we went to this really cool textured aluminum. Obviously not going to get any fingerprints on this kind of finish. It looks really good and it's going to stay looking really nice. So on the flip side, you do have a large window, kind of an L-shaped window here. You can access your RAM, your hard drive from this. Really handy to do any kind of upgrades. Although with 8 gigabytes of RAM and a huge hard drive, I'm not sure that you'll need to do anything in the near future, but it's good to have. And yeah, overall it's a pretty nice, not too heavy, about 4.8 pounds once you put the battery in, and quite slim. You can see it's only about 1 inch thick. So you can tell this is really a small chassis for what's going to be a 14-inch screen. So let's get this stuff out of the way and check this thing out. Okay, so let's start off by quickly throwing the battery in this. And it's really easy to get in. You just have to slide it basically, and it clicks right into place. So now that that's on, let's just quickly turn it on and get this out of the way. And you'll notice that the aluminum does actually continue to the inside of the notebook. You have that same nice textured aluminum that you had on the outside on the palm rest, and you get a brushed aluminum on the keyboard surround. And it is a chiplet keyboard and quite a nice touchpad as well. You have separate keys for right and left click, something people have been asking for a couple months now. If you look at the bezel, it's also a nice matte finish bezel. You have your 0.3 megapixel camera on the top here. And you'll notice that the bezel is actually quite a bit narrower than the typical 13-inch notebook, for example. And that's how we managed to get the 14-inch screen in a smaller chassis like this, by taking up some space on the outside edges. So notice it booted up in just about 45 seconds, so it's pretty quick. And like I mentioned, this does have Optimus technology. So what that means is you actually have 2 graphic cards. One is an Intel integrated graphic card, and the other is this NVIDIA GT540M with 1 gigabyte of video memory. So whenever you're doing basic tasks like browsing the web or on your desktop, it's going to be on those Intel integrated graphics. And that's going to be using a lot less battery life. But as soon as you open something a little bit more graphic intensive, like for example, opening an HD video or opening a game, it's automatically going to detect that and switch seamlessly to the NVIDIA graphics. So you're not going to notice any disruption, but it's going to start using those more powerful graphics to take advantage of the higher performance. So that's how we managed to get that extra battery life, by not using those more powerful graphics until we actually need them. So that's how we get about 10 hours of battery life on this notebook. So let me just quickly close this up, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a look at some of the ports that we have in this notebook, because they are slightly different from the typical 13-inch notebook in terms of configuration and layout. So the first thing we have is a VGA port. That's pretty standard, of course. The next thing we have is a USB 3.0 port. So it definitely comes in handy, kind of future-proof technology to have that 10 times faster USB port. Then of course we do have the standard USB 2.0. We've got a microphone jack and a headphone jack. Then on the front is where we now have our SD card reader. And on the other side, because this is a 14-inch notebook, we managed to squeeze in a DVD writer. So that's actually built in. Then we have an Ethernet port, an HDMI out port, which is basically the updated version of the VGA port, and another USB 2.0 port. Now you're probably asking, so where is my charging cable? Well, we actually have ports on the back of this notebook as well. And the first one is your Kensington lock. So if you happen to be displaying this somewhere or you want to make sure no one steals your notebook, you can lock it up. And then this is where we have your charging cable. So it's great to have this on the back of your notebook, of course, because when it's on the back, the cable is not going to get in the way. Especially if you're left-handed and you always have that cable on the left, it's not very ergonomic or user-friendly. Alright guys, so that's the U46Sv. It's basically a nice ultra-portable 14-inch notebook, really thin, only about 4.85 pounds. So definitely a great notebook to consider. It starts at only $8.99, so an awesome value as well. So definitely check it out. And don't forget to subscribe to ASUS ROG on YouTube. Thanks for watching.